Welcome. The regular meeting of the Annapolis City Council on Monday, May 13th, 2024 will be called to order at 7:01. At this time, please join us for the invocation given by Alderwoman Pendell Charles, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Old Testament or New Testament?
Good evening. This council's prayer will be more of a daily instructions. It's called Life's Little Instructions by H. Jackson Brown Jr. Watch a sunrise at least once a year. Leave the toilet seat in the down position. Sing in the shower, floss your teeth, overtip breakfast waitresses. Never waste an opportunity to tell someone you love them. Wear polished shoes, carry jumper cables in your truck. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Say thank you a lot, say please a lot, be the first to say hello. Look people in the eye, have a firm handshake. Wave at kids on school buses. Compliment 3 people every day. Commit yourself to constant improvement. Stop blaming others. Take responsibility for every area of your life. Don't be afraid to say I made a mistake. Don't be afraid to say I don't know. Be forgiving of yourself and others. Avoid negative people. Become the most positive and enthusiastic person you know. Ask for a raise when you feel like you've earned it. Don't expect life to be fair. Think big thoughts, but relish small pleasures. Compliment even small improvements. Keep it simple. Live your life as an exclamation, not an explanation. Leave everything a little better than you found it. Learn 3 clean jokes. Feed a stranger's expired parking meter. Buy whatever kids are selling on card tables in their front yards. Make new friends but cherish the old ones. Rekindle old friendships. Drink champagne for no reason at all. Never refuse homemade brownies. Remember other people's birthdays. Use the good silver. Send lots of Valentine's cards and sign them someone who thinks you're terrific. Return borrowed vehicles with the gas tank full. Return all things you borrow. Plant flowers every spring. Plant a tree on your birthday. Have a dog. Keep your promises no matter what. Keep secrets. Sing in a choir. Never underestimate the power of love. Marry only for love. Be there when people need you. Always accept an outstretched hand. Treat everyone you meet like you want to be treated. Count your blessings. And as apropos now, call your mother wherever she may be.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Here.
Alderwoman Tierney? Here. Alderwoman O'Neill? Present. Alderwoman Pendell Charles?
Here.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Present.
Alderman Shanda Meyer?
Present.
Alderman Gay? Alderman Savage?
Present.
Alderman Arnett?
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the first item on the agenda.
The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
With
An amendment?
amendment. Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, tonight we have members that served on the Eastport Forest Drive Communities and Governmental Agencies Task Force R-27. Thank you, Alderwoman. Tonight we have here City of Annapolis Eastport Forest Drive Communities and Governmental Agencies Task Force R-2719 here to receive their volunteer citations that they performed the work several years ago. Better late than never. Thank you.
Is this on there?
No, it is not. Oh.
Savage amendment?
Is R 2524 on the agenda?
Yep, I'm about to say that. So can we add R 2524 and add the ALS with proclamation from Alderman Finlayson? And for the record, could we for this time remove O-12-24 and O-13-24? Okay, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is proclamation for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
On Finlayson, is it? Yep.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, but I'm not sure we have anyone here to accept it, but we can just read it in the record. Sure. You want to go down? It is a pleasure to read the City of Annapolis Proclamation. Whereas amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, known as ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive, fatal, neurodegenerative disease in which a person's brain loses connection with the muscles, slowly taking away their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. And whereas every 90 minutes, someone is diagnosed with ALS and someone passes away with ALS. And whereas on average, patients diagnosed with ALS survive 2 to 5 years from the time of diagnosis, there is no cure. And whereas people with military backgrounds, I think it should be, are more likely to develop ALS and die from the disease than those who have not served. And whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies is of vital importance to people living with ALS. And whereas we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge through a renewed commitment to galvanize public awareness and support funding leading to significant investments in ALS research. And whereas the ALS Association, as the largest philanthropic funder of ALS research globally, has committed over $154 million to support more than 550 projects across the United States and 18 other countries. And whereas our commitment to accelerating the pace of discovery remains unwavering, fueled by the hope that one day ALS will be a livable disease for everyone, everywhere, until we can cure it. And whereas ALS Awareness Month increases the public's awareness of people with ALS dire circumstances, and acknowledges the terrible impact this disease has, not only on the person, but on his or her family and the community, and recognizes the research being done to eradicate this disease. Now, therefore, I, Gavin Buckley, Mayor of the City of Annapolis, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as ALS Month in the City of Annapolis.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is presentation ID 8524, next phase of the plans for City Dock, including the Maritime Welcome Center and the other above-ground features of the new park.
So today we had a work session at the Chop Tank Restaurant overlooking the City Dock Park to roll out the new Waterfront Welcome Center. As many people are aware, the current Harbour Master's office and the visitors kiosk there is nearly 50 years old in the middle of the parking lot. We're turning that parking lot into a park and a public space, not a parking lot. We have added, as many of you know, nearly 180 spaces in the garage next to the garage, so we have a net gain in parking. And we are moving forward on the design and input for a new Waterfront Welcome Center, which will be one of the most visited structures in the city. Even if you're not here for boating or you're not even going to the visitor center, you'll be able to get up on a nice deck on the second floor, look out over Spa Creek. and marvel at the wonderful city that we live in. So please go to the city's website and start to follow the process as we move through the plans. Tomorrow we go to the Planning Commission and HPC for some pre-work. And we want to thank everybody that's put the nearly 3 to 4 years work into getting to this point. As you all know, we are going to have a record flooding year in 2024. The urgency is now. Wouldn't happen without the City Council and all the hard work of all the directors and all the public input. So big thank you to everybody. And Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
Mr. Mayor, can we do the citations first for the volunteers?
Oh, sorry.
That's
No,
okay.
yes. And
I'm sorry,
I
it
will,
was
before we
added.
go to reports, Alderman Pindell Charles added something to the schedule. So you need me up there or you?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Good evening. We're going to ask everyone who received the email, who served on the City of Annapolis Eastport Forest Drive Communities and Governmental Agencies Task Force R-2719 to please come forward. And Ms. Debbie Odom, our Ward 3 Communities Liaison, please come forward. They're in alphabetical order. We're so sorry, first of all, my oversight in not having this sooner. But anyway, it all began in September 2018 when it was proposed in R4518 that the Forest Drive Eastport Sector Study be made a part of the 2009 Comprehensive Plan. And a member of the Eastport Civic Association, the ECA, made this request. As a matter of context, in October 2009, the City Council adopted the 2009 Comprehensive Plan pursuant to R3209 as amended, which was still in effect in 2018. In February 2019, the president of ECA came before the council to testify as a follow-up. In March 2019, the Ward 3 Alderwoman followed up with the ECA president. As a result, on April 9, 2019, 5 years ago last month, a first-time ever meeting was held between the ECA and the Greater Parole Community Association, the GPCA, along with the Ward 8 and Ward 3 alderpersons to discuss not only the sector study, but to find common ground on matters of mutual interest. And as a reminder that both Eastport and Parole were annexed into the city of Annapolis on the same exact day, January 1st, 1951. This April 9, 2019 meeting proved to be very fruitful as well as enlightening, also considered to be a milestone, and everyone vowed to continue to discuss areas of mutual interest and concern. And in September 2019, the Forest Drive Eastport Greater Parole Citizens Coalition was formed. In May 2019, a multi-jurisdictional task force was preliminarily formed to examine the solutions related to the sector study. In July 2019, Resolution R2719, Eastport Forest Drive Communities and Governmental Agency Task Force was formed. It was formed as a temporary advisory task force for the purpose of providing the mayor and city council with a public forum for continuing to study and prepare reports about the sector studies requested by concerned and impacted residents. And it was the city's wish to enter into a memorandum of understanding with our Anne Arundel County government and our state of Maryland government to study shared roadways and the impact that it has on the citizens of our city, county, and state. As a result, each ward was represented on the task force by a resident, along with professional staff from the city, county, and state. And all the persons were welcome to provide input. The tenure of this task force was 2 years unless extended. It was agreed by all that this type of city, county, state partnership and this level of involvement and commitment among these three governmental agencies was indeed unprecedented. 2 years later, in June 2021, the task force completed its work. The following residents fully participated on this task force: retired Colonel Aiken, Peter Bittner, Ronaldo Brown.
Are we going to be funding those?
We can do it when we,
Okay.
Camille Semino, Deborah Dillon, who's excused, Adam A.J. Eckert, Kim Golder, Lawrence L. Harris Jr., Katie Hopkins, Claire Miller, who's celebrating her wedding anniversary this evening, Lily Openshaw as the vice chair, Lon Powell, Bill Reichert as the chair, Benjamin Sale, Admiral Schaefer, Brooke Schandelmeyer, Jawan A. Smith, and John Van D. Camp, I'm sorry. From our State of Maryland Department of Transportation, State Highways Administration, Kimberly Tran, District Engineer, District 5, covering Anne Arundel, Calvert, Charles, and St. Mary's counties, and Michelle Brickus, Assistant District Engineer for Traffic. From our Anne Arundel County, Ramon Robinson, who has now left the county, and Martha Arzu McIntosh, Department of Transportation Director and Transportation Planner, respectively. Nestor Flores, Department of Public Works Chief, Traffic Engineering Division, and Patrick Hughes, who asked to be excused, Department of Planning and Zoning Long Range Planner. And from our city, Dr. Sally Nash, Planning and Zoning Director, who has moved on, and Mr. Eric Lashinsky, Chief of Comprehensive Planning, who asked to be excused. Everyone agreed our governmental partners were incredible. Their professional expertise was outstanding and very much needed, and they were with us each and every step of the way. Since 2019, the city, county, and state have continued to share information and collaborate on areas of concern and or mutual interest. Just one example, regularly communicating, meeting, and collaborating on issues faced by motorists and pedestrians at the intersection of Chicopee Round Road, which is a city roadway, Forest Drive, which is a county roadway, and Aristide Allen Boulevard, which is a state roadway. While we all can agree that no relationship is perfect, whether it's our own personal relationships with family and friends, as well as our professional relationships with colleagues, nevertheless, we still always try to maintain cordial and understanding relationships. And while the work of the task force may not have been fully embraced or adopted, nevertheless, we can recognize and appreciate not only the value of partnerships and volunteerism, as well as friendships, but also the value of the task force, in that we can certainly see some of the task force work and deliberations sprinkled within the 2040, still a draft, comprehensive plan. So we're here tonight to celebrate the very hard work of our resident volunteers, as well as our city and our county and state partners, albeit 5 years later. Thank you again, and congratulations to all of you on a job very well done. Alderman Arnett, if you would like to say something, as well as our mayor.
Yes, I want to add my thanks, but also I think this group is a group that can give an example for future development across the cooperation between the city and the county in particular, and I hope will lead to a citizens coalition, sort of the fifth rail, to keep us on our toes and keep us going. So, and I am thinking about adding your report as an amendment to Appendix D of the comprehensive plan, which has the Forest Drive sector study, and I think your report should go along with that sector study. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mayor.
I'll just say a quick thank you to everybody. I mean, we're very lucky in this city to have so many engaged constituents, people that want to get involved in these things, because we all really want the same thing, a great place for everybody to live. We do live in one of the best places in the world, in the country, but every day we can make it a little bit better by citizen input, and I want to thank everybody for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and let's all kind of group photo.
We come out the front here, shall we?
All right.
You guys with the stars.
Now, I'm gonna need you to switch off the comments for another. I see you all first.
Is that 25?
Right, thank you.
Thank you all again.
You can find yourselves here, those are all good there.
It's me next, right? I'm just going to go straight into it. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I want to begin tonight by acknowledging a tragic event that occurred just over a week ago. On Friday, May 3rd, 3 children were struck down by gunfire after being dropped off by the school bus in the Bywater Mutual Homes neighbourhood. Fortunately, all are now recovering. APD and fire paramedics were on site in minutes to administer aid, get the victims to hospital, get the area cordoned off, and begin a thorough investigation. We know that residents are frightened and traumatised by this incident. We're doing everything in our power to ensure the safety of your families. Throughout the past week, Annapolis Police had a strong presence in Bywater. They also met with residents and community leaders with the County Education Department to better understand what happened and ensure students and parents received information and support. What we know from meeting with the community and schools is that teenagers in our neighbourhoods are in conflict. There have been fights at school that spill over into episodes of more extreme violence in the street. We need to all work together to help these youth bring this violent cycle to an end. Last Saturday, APD ran a very successful gun turn-in event. We had 53 guns, 4,100 rounds of ammunition, and a grenade turned in, a great outcome in the community. I've also asked the No Harm Violence Prevention team to work with the Bywater community, their neighbours and community partners to organise a peace march and rally this Friday, May 17th. We will gather from 5 p.m. in the car park next to Safeway on Forest Drive. The march will step off at 5:30 p.m., proceed along Bywater Road, then right into Copeland Drive. It will finish at the Boys and Girls Club, where community leaders will speak and partners will share health and service resources. This march is an opportunity for all of us to take a stand against gun violence and show our support for families impacted by violence. Please come along, wear orange, make your voices heard. Thank you. Last Friday, Alderman Pindell Charles hosted an important event in Parole. We unveiled a new historic marker in front of what was a one-time Parole Rosenwal School. During the era of segregation, Julius Rosenwal, who ran Sears Roebuck and Company, and Booker T. Washington, the author and educator at Tuskegee Institute, knew that they could change the lives of African American children in the South through education. With a massive infusion of cash from Mr. Rosenwald, more than 5,000 schools were founded throughout the southern states, including 20 right here in Anne Arundel County. Only about 10% of those schools remain today. We videoed the unveiling of the sign, and the speakers did a great job talking about Rosenwald schools and their importance. I urge you to visit our YouTube channel to watch this event And a huge thank you to Alderman Pindell Charles, who is trying to make Parole the #1 tourist destination in Maryland, and she's doing a great job of it. This is a fantastic piece of history that a lot of people didn't know about. Thank you, Alderman Pindell Charles. Early today, as I spoke of, the Special City Council work session, City Dock project team presented the reworked plans for the new Waterfront Welcome Centre and features of the new City Dock Park. It was a great presentation, and I thank the City Council for the positive way they engaged with the design and the useful feedback everybody provided today. The updated design reflects feedback received over hundreds of hours of meetings with stakeholders, residents, and subject matter experts. Our architects and landscape designers sifted through the comments, reworked the design to accommodate as many suggestions as possible. The updated design will be presented tomorrow night at a joint session of the Historic Preservation and Planning Commission. It is an amazing plan. I hope you'll take time to tune in tomorrow. We are on pace this year, as I said, to have a new record number of flooding days. And if any of you tried to get downtown on Mother's Day, you could not get into the Dock Street parking lot because it was flooded. Dutch Barricade kept Compromise Street open. We were lucky, but it wasn't so lucky for people that were trying to get over to restaurants such as Latitude 38. I know the residents and businesses downtown are excited to get started on this resilience work. It is vital. Today is the first day of Bike to Work Week. On Friday morning, we will celebrate with a Bike to Work Day, including a celebration at City Dock on Friday morning. Get some friends together and ride your bikes to Susan Campbell Park between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. There will be giveaways. They have really great prizes, great company. County Executive will be there, and I look forward to seeing you there. I'm pretty sure he's going to be there. He's always there. Now, next week is Commissioning Week here in Annapolis. I talked about this at the last council meeting, so I'm simply going to remind everyone to take your time getting around downtown next week while visitors, including proud parents and grandparents, are making their way around the city. The Blue Angels will arrive on Tuesday, have the air show on Wednesday. The Mids will graduate and be commissioned on Friday. It's a great week in Annapolis, but it will be busy, so give yourself that extra time and please have a safe week. We also send our congratulations out to the class of 24 at both the Academy and at St. John's. Memorial Day is the following Monday, Monday 27th, and will feature our annual Memorial Day Parade along West Street and Main Street, concluding at City Dock. The Fleet Reserve will host a wreath laying after the parade. I urge everyone to take time on Memorial Day to think about the sacrifices that service members and their families have made throughout American history to protect the freedoms that we all enjoy. On Memorial Day, offices will be closed. Trash and recycling will move to Monday. Tuesday and Tuesday's pickup will move to Wednesday. There is no change for Thursday and Friday pickups. Transit will operate on a Sunday schedule. Pip Moyer and Stanton Center will be closed on that day. The following Saturday, June 1st, is Pride in Annapolis with a parade and festival. There are a few changes to the parade route and festival location this year. The parade will begin at City Dock and go up Main Street to West Street to Amos Garrett. The parade will end at Maryland Hall, where the festivals will take place, and there will be a fun, amazing party. There will be rolling road closures for both Memorial Day and Pride parades. Please follow Annapolis Police direction. Thank you all for your patience. I hope to see you all out there having fun. And now let's get on with the meeting, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item is reports by committee.
Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. The Transportation Committee met last week. We had an update from Bird, and that was very positive. They're trying to get some more Bird bikes and scooters out on the roadways and into places where people are actually picking them up and scootering and riding into town. We also talked with Annapolis Premium Parking about the Hillman Garage and some updates. They're implementing many of the recommendations of the focus group and the residents' testimonies. And it was also announced that Park Place Garage will be going gateless, I believe starting at the end of this week. And they have some options for people to pay just like Hillman, and it should be a great thing. Followed by the next two garages, Gott's and Knighton, probably in a few months. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderman Pindell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I ask that my Public Safety Standing Committee report be incorporated into our mayor's update report tonight. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At last week's Environmental Matters Committee meeting, we spoke primarily about two topics. First, we got a report from Planning and Zoning and our urban tree canopy staff talking about the current tree canopy goal versus the proposed changes to the goal in the comprehensive plan. The committee, I don't know if we'll make it in time, but I think we'll have some recommendations as far as the goal we would like to see in the comp plan, as well as hopefully how we can get a dedicated funding source for actually funding the positions and the resources to make our tree canopy goal, because I don't think, unfortunately, when this was adopted back in 2006, I think it wasn't really fully funded. So we want to make sure we don't repeat that mistake. So we may have a budget amendment on that. The other issue we talked about was Eastport Neighborhood Initiative Transformation, R1924. And that is, we kind of got a report from Public Works, if you're interested, regarding the phase 1 environmental assessment that was done on the Spa Road portion of that project, where the old Public Works building. And Public Works gave us an update on the timeline for the phase 2 environmental assessment. So phase 1 is where you identify potential contamination. Phase 2 is where you really go out and quantify and do all the samples. And so we just went over that. We may end up proposing some changes to the language in the resolution, but we postponed action until the next meeting to get more information. That's it. Our next meeting, is going to be June 13th, Thursday at 3 p.m. Thank you.
Anybody else? Alderman Tierney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee deliberated May 1st through May 9th, so that our finance budget report is presented to the council tonight as per the city code. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for this Wednesday, May 15th at 10:30 a.m. So with that, we will present the report. We have props this time, for you to follow along, and this is unrehearsed, probably 20 minutes or so, as I'm sure this audience isn't here for this for this report. But more seriously, it is a very important report. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to take a moment to express my deep appreciation for the hard work and dedication of my committee colleagues, Alderwoman Finlayson and Alderwoman O'Neill, in preparing this report. Their contributions were invaluable. I also want to acknowledge the unwavering support of the Finance Department and their patience and their attendance at all of the Finance Committee meetings over the past 3 weeks. Also the city manager and the assistant city manager, and to my colleagues, Alderman Arnett, Alderwoman Pindell Charles, and for their attendance, and Kaylin, of course, for finalizing this report for us. So over the last 3 weeks, we watched 14 department presentations and received presentations on our debt capacity by Davenport and our enterprise funds by Stantec. The departments did their homework, and their presentations were concise and consistent with each other. We didn't have to call any departments back, and thanks to Alderman Savage's good questions, we utilized an online live document for questions and answers between my colleagues and the department heads. So we'd like to briefly walk you through this. I will start basically summarizing the first 4 pages. As you can see, the first chart is a flow chart of our process that really began a couple of years ago. As a general overview, the city manager presented a guiding principle for us, and that is governing is the process of deciding how to allocate limited resources. The City Council has been diligently working on a strategic plan since last January 2023, followed by another this year. It was encouraging to note that the performance measures presented by the departments are aligning with this plan, thanks to the efforts of our Assistant City Manager. This alignment is a testament to our commitment to a strategic plan in line with financial management. So the next page, the first part of this report speaks to the budget as a whole. And the good news, and I'll sort of summarize that summary, the good news is that with much relief, there is no property tax increase. In addition, the remaining ARPA funds were not used to balance the budget. We do not have a structural deficit. Our revenues did not only depend on property tax, but also other sources such as hotel tax and state income tax, et cetera. Due to improved budgeting and estimating expenditures by our departments and finance, our fund balances remained strong at the end of fiscal year 2024, allowing us to fund our reserve and increase our capital investments. If you continue to page 3 and 4, the calculations of our fund balances are stated specifically on page 4. Is Caitlin driving? Yeah, so that's all of the math that is really important to know, that our fund balances, when calculated, meeting the criteria of holding the listed percentages, we have enough to keep our reserves healthy and to support a very healthy capital projects plan. Our ARPA funding was not utilized to address any deficit in the budget, so we were able to use it for other needs, as you see there. While we have some of the concerns is, while we have seen some expansion in revenue sources such as hotel tax and other avenues, it's important to address the challenges that we face. Higher interest rates have remained steady and are impacting our payments and investments. The closure of City Dock that the mayor spoke to will also affect our tourism revenue. However, the most significant challenge we identified in reviewing this budget is the need for a complete classification and compensation study. This was a concerning finding, but we had no choice but to trust the estimated amounts in the budget for any salary impact. Another issue is the incompletion of the union negotiations, which has put pressure on the finance director, although she won't admit it, to provide estimate holds in the budget. These challenges require our immediate attention and action to address in the future. Other challenges include stagnant inflation rates, healthcare premiums, and a difficult job market for attracting and filling vacant positions. So, with that context, we include our presentation reviews on the following pages. The reviews are structured by summarizing the department's function and outlining good news, challenges, and the committee's recommendations. My colleague, Alderwoman O'Neill, will start, followed by Alderwoman Finlayson, and I will conclude with mine. Oh, swap that. My colleagues, Alderwoman Shielder Finlayson will start, followed by Alderwoman O'Neill, and I will conclude with my departments, followed by our recommendations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The fire department is one of our most trusted departments. And in the report, you will see many, many, many more facts about their contributions in our city, but I just wanted to highlight just a few. In the course of the year, they received over 13,000 calls. They had over 10,000 encounters and transported over 6,300 residents. They collected over $2 million in revenue for their services. They inspected 765 units or rentals, and they re-inspected 420. Many more statistics, but just a snapshot of what they do. And that's all their good news. In addition to their continuous trainings, the providing of resources to the community as are needed, their major challenge is the fact that our 3 firehouses are dated. They're very old, and they need to be renovated. So that's one of the challenges that they have. For example, women firefighters don't have equal amenities, for example, in our fire stations. And the other is the interest in mental health and suicide prevention workshops. So our recommendation for them is to fully support their needs as far as the suicide and prevention workshops, as well as to work with them to bring revenue so that we can do the proper renovations. My next department was the Office of Emergency Preparedness, and they touch everyone. And they have done a yeoman's job as usual of providing trainings to every department throughout the city. They're also responsible for well over 50 different programs and plans for the county, the state, and for the feds. And so they try very hard with their limited staff to keep up with all of these programs and reports that are due. They were responsible for implementing the Disaster Recovery Fund, as well as well over $2 million in grant funding that they brought in for the city. Their major challenge is not having enough staff to pursue more grants and the ability to complete all the programs and reports that are due. And so our committee fully funds, not fully funds, but fully supports the funding of the emergency planner position in that department. And that's the tune of $122,000. The next department is the police department, and they too have done a yeoman's job, and the list goes on, and you can check it out in the report. But they have adjusted staffing to speak to violence as it occurs in our community. So their deployments change. As the mayor said in his report, Bywater had additional deployment in the last week as a result of the shootings that occurred there. So the police are constantly making changes to address the needs of the community. They have a thriving reentry program that is speaking to a segment of the community that is often unaddressed, and therefore they end up back in the cycle of back to prison. They were able to pursue over $2 million in grants in their department. And so their challenge really is they need a grant writer, and they would like to be able to give bonuses to their department as are needed. Our recommendation is that they will continue to pursue their reaccreditation, their CALEA accreditation, as well as the mental health training. My next department is Integrated Technology Services. That's our IT department. They handle all of our IT in all of our departments. And so they keep up with all of the technology. And so they do all the trainings, and as you can't see because it's too small, but they provide proper training for the technology that we all use on our iPads to keep up with data and to communicate. They have had over 12,000 hits on our GSI data, which is the mapping data. And so their big challenge is being able to transition the alcohol beverage licenses as well as the short-term short-term rental licenses into our EnerGov system, as well as making sure that our website is ADA compliant. So we further encourage, as our recommendation, that they pursue city and county collaboration with our GSI system. The last is community grants. And the process for community grants is outlined in the report, so I won't go over it. But we had 54 applicants this year. Every year, the city gives community grants to a number of nonprofit organizations who provide a necessary service that we cannot provide. So this year, we had 54 applicants, 15 of whom were new applicants. Those requests came to a little over $1.2 million. The pool of money they had to work with, however, was $370,000. Those programs ran the gamut from nutritional programs to children, youth, and families, to educational programs, to homeless programs, to the arts, the economy, and the environment. Out of the 54 total grants, we were able to recommend $423,000. And so attached to the report is the Finance Committee's recommendation. And we pretty much followed the recommendation of the committee responsible. We made a few tweaks, but for the most part, we followed the recommendations of the committee. And so all of those recommendations are in the report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start with Department of Transportation, the department I love dearly because I also serve on the committee. They have a lot of good news. They have hired a new parking coordinator, which will help our director in managing all the different aspects of parking throughout the city. We've also purchased small buses for microtransit, and all of our drivers for buses have a very, very, very low accident rate of 0.01%, less than. So that leads us into their being able to surpass their benchmarks for responding to customers and providing great customer service. We have added to the department a pedestrian coordinator, and that position is going to allow the transportation department to focus on green initiatives, including bikeways, pedestrian paths, and bike and road transit initiatives. One great thing to note is that this year's budget includes let's say that word 5 times fast. Defibrillators on all of the city buses. So anywhere a city bus is in the city of Annapolis, they can now help those in need for heart issues. They do have some challenges. We found that in looking at traffic routes, 42% of our transit riders travel outside of the city. And how do we address that? The budget also doesn't include a bus replacement fund. So as the buses age out, we are looking for new ways to fund those new buses. And our committee recommendations for that is encourage the new parking coordinator to really focus on optimizing revenues in looking at the garages and our paid parking spaces. Going on to city manager, we had a lot of good news in the city manager department. The assistant city manager completed a community survey, and a lot of the results of that survey were used in creating this year's budget and strategic plans. We have started looking at standard operating procedures framework for all of the city departments so that everybody will be operating on the same set of framework there. And they've also done leadership training throughout for department directors and deputy directors. We're continuing to focus on finalizing a strategic plan for the city. The city manager's office includes several sub-departments, resiliency and sustainability. We're working on the city dock project, as the mayor mentioned earlier. And really the biggest challenge there is really leveraging our various partners for flooding challenges and improve the citywide resiliency efforts. The harbor master's office, They've done a lot of good work in this past year. They rebuilt the park at Cheston Avenue, adding a floating dock and pier. They're starting a new pilot program for city kayak racks. They've taken care of abandoned boats, and they rescued 3 people this past year. Some of their challenges were looking at the projected loss when the city dock is under construction and trying to find a place to relocate the harbor master's office during that construction. But we're working on it. Their Office of Community Services, we've added a Hispanic Outreach Coordinator, which will vastly help the department in dealing with all of our residents, working with all of our residents. And we filled the Community Engagement Administrator position, which is really key for that department. One of our biggest challenges is we have a rental assistance program, and it far exceeds the available funds, and trying to figure out the best way to move forward with that. And then the staffing to manage 3 different grant programs within the city, looking at ways to better manage those different grant programs. And our committee recommends the completion of the task force recommendations as defined in Resolution R4823, which really asked to take a good hard look at those grants, how they're adopted, how they're offered, how they're solicited. Moving on to the mayor's office. The mayor's office has also a lot of good news. We are increasing funding to enhance communication with residents through mailers, flyers, and such. And we also, they do have a couple of challenges. That citywide mailer program is a challenge. It's expensive, but it seems to be working. When we did the community survey, the mailings, we're able to get a lot more residents responding. The committee's recommendations for the mayor department is hiring a lobbyist to assist in lobbying the state at the state and county level for some of the projects going on in the city. And we're also recommending that we keep the COA TV within the mayor's office under the direction of the PIO officer, public information officer. The next one on my list is human resources. Good news is we're adding an HR analyst and an upgrade to the office associate. We're continuing the internship program this year with spaces for 20 local high school and college students to learn about the workings of the city. And the human resources working with the Department of Public Works with a career ladder. So people coming into the city in the different departments have a way of moving up the ladder. Some of the challenges, the compensation and pay scale study at this writing of this was not complete. And so we were looking at some estimated numbers. And then there's also been an increase in healthcare premiums for our staff, city staff. Our committee's recommendations is to support the exploration of tuition reimbursement for employees. Used to be a program in the city, and it was taken away many years ago. We're looking at adding it back in so that city employees have a way to further their education. Moving on to Office of Law, because I know our 20 minutes are getting going by quickly. There was a lot of good news in the Office of Law. We had a reduction in contract attorneys. They started the city code legal review and modernization, and successfully negotiated the opioid litigation that's been taking place. They provided training for the Annapolis Police Department and on the Maryland Police Accountability. And challenges for the Office of Law, this is attracting professionals due to salaries being lower than the private sector. And about 30% of our attorneys' days are spent on the Housing Authority, City of Annapolis cases. So we're trying to get that balanced out. Committee recommendations are increasing funding for special assignments and unscheduled requests. And that leads me to Alderwoman Tierney.
Planning and zoning?
Oh, is that still me?
Yeah, you have a lot of departments. It's okay. This was 3 weeks of work, so to compress it in 20 minutes is difficult, so no rush.
Right. Some good news for planning and zoning. Sorry about that. We hired a new director in the fall of 2024. They're working on increased customer service in many different parts of that department, quicker revisions, somebody to basically walk you through the process of creating a permit application. And we're including a new senior planner in this year's budget to help expedite those project review times. Some of the challenges for planning and zoning is they really need additional personnel to manage grants, which seems to be a common theme throughout many of our departments, and is something that the Finance Committee really wants to take a look at with the council. And working on creating a more user-friendly platform with more person-to-person contact. We're starting that, and so that's going in the right direction. Some of the committee recommendations are to add a contract part-time staff to manage the short-term rental program and continue ways to enhance customer service satisfaction. And last on my list is recreation and parks. And the best news from recreation parks is, I believe for the first time ever, you could register online for camps. As a mother of 2 children who are no longer doing camps, I was celebrating that because that is a major improvement. Membership increased from 7,200 to 9,073, which was amazing. And we offered over 96 sports programs and over 11,000 participants, and that's both children and adults. There was lots of greenscape projects as well. Some of their challenges is working to alter the fee schedule at city-owned properties such as the Stanton Center, and upgrading facilities, in particular Stanton Center, that is in the capital budget this year. The committee recommendations were improve the financial transparency with the Art and Public Places Commission, which falls under the management of Parks and Recreation and Parks, and expedite the renovations of Weems Wayland Field so our kids have a safe place to play in the city. Now I'm finished.
Okay, thanks. If you're following along, we're on page 22, and I'll begin with the Finance Department. For those of you who look at the pie charts, I always have to say this disclaimer with the Finance Department because it is a placeholder for non-allocated funds, so its section of the pie looks pretty large for a finance department, but those non-allocated funds are composed of items that can't be, as it says, specifically allocated to other departments within the general fund. So that's debt service, community grants, contributions to OPEB, contributions to self-insurance, contingency, interfund transfers, compensation, contingency, and other smaller accounts. I didn't address those in my review of the Finance Department budget. As far as the department itself is concerned, it has continually achieved high bond ratings with the leadership of Director Dickinson. They met all, well, let me repeat what those bond ratings are. It's Fitch AA+, Moody's capital A, small A1, and S&P Global AA+ this year. They met, they had their yearly audit, they met all accounting principles, and no corrections were necessary. With the leadership of Director Dickinson, they have implemented a measured growth of their department. They are limited on space, but a couple years ago, she presented an org chart with her anticipated growth, and it is deemed successful. This year was we got the ACVR, the Comprehensive Auditing Report, or I should know what that stands for, but the ACVR was on time, and which was great. And then they also improved the city's budget process by utilizing OpenGov, and the departments were very successful in utilizing that. So as spoken, the department's workload is suffering with continued turnover in a very competitive job market in the finance arena. And as I mentioned, they don't have adequate space right now, and that's in the works under another department. As far as our recommendations, we do support their moving of the grant administrator to the Department of Public Works because of the grant-funded capital projects that the DPW oversees. We continually support their plan for expansion and their effort in recruitment and retention. Central Services is a new department proposed. It oversees purchasing, facilities management, fleet operations, and replacement. Fleet management is responsible for all administrative buildings, and police and fire stations throughout the city. Central purchasing ensures compliance with purchasing policies and assists departments with competitive bidding and other purchasing processes to ensure efficient use of city funds. Fleet operations and replacement is responsible for vehicle maintenance and replacement. The good news here is that it centralizes, consolidates purchasing, facilities management, and fleet operations. Among its day-to-day operations, it will be responsible for finding necessary space for the departments of which I spoke, specifically the finance department and others, mission critical departments that need more space. They'll be looking at options such as renting, buying, subletting, or whatever. The hiring staff in the procurement office is a challenge. There's going to be a lot of contracts to buy for these capital projects, and we do recommend this department. We look forward to supporting its success. However, we do not support the movement of the TV studio into it. We do not see the logic in that, and we feel it best to remain under the mayor's public information office. My next department was Department of Public Works. Due to time constraints tonight, please review the excellent news in the report on your own. But obviously, the biggest highlight is the completion of the new Department of Public Works facilities. They completed several capital projects, including the church circle, traffic signaling, miscellaneous street and bulkhead repairs. We do applaud the director's decision to hire an engineer to charge against the water sewer enterprise funds to focus on those particular projects. DPW continues to provide high-quality drinking water to our residents and adding new customers, including Parkside Preserve this year. And as stated previously, we do support the finance department's transfer of a grant administrator. With the addition of over $20 million in capital projects and managing the existing ones, they face an enormous challenge. As such, we strongly recommend addressing the staffing gap by exploring options that my colleague Alderwoman O'Neill will address in a separate amendment. In addition, we recommend quarterly reports on the capital budget, quarterly reports to the City Council to minimize any miscommunication and address schedule, cost, or scope creep impacts. Next, related to DPW is the capital improvement budget. The good news, as the chart portrays, is, and this is pretty huge, and credit should go to the mayor, is that we are finding additional sources of funding for these projects. When he was elected, he joked about having grant ninjas, and that has deemed to be successful, as this chart shows. This then relieves the pressure on bond financing. However, grants do come with stipulations that we need to monitor so as not to impact the schedule of receiving those funds. This grant administrator is a great idea. We list the completion of 2 projects as good news. However, this number is low compared to the volume of projects that are listed. It could be higher. We have to move these projects forward from design to construction, which will require considerable effort and staff coordination. As Director Vogel told us, a substantial amount of projects are currently exceeding their original scope and have potential cost overruns that cannot continue. Two very significant projects, the City Dock Resiliency Project and the CNI project, need to secure final funding and community support respectively. Our recommendations is then to realign the capital projects with our comprehensive plans and goals. We also need to finalize the Weems-Whalen athletic field plans and provide, again, and support additional project management. Next is the DPW, Department of Work Enterprise Funds account. We spent a lot of time on this, really drilling down into initially our concern. As you know, this utility fees they do need to cover our costs of providing them. We can't, we can't manage inflation or what are the challenges that our existing aging infrastructure provides us with. So we have to really focus on managing that. And we were very pleased to see that DPW have assigned different engineers to these different utilities. And it's very impressive. There is an engineer to manage storm, an engineer to manage sewer, and an engineer to manage the water projects. The stormwater effort is a huge challenge because we have to meet MDE requirements, and there is decreasing real estate, if you will, to implement these projects, and they are in difficult, terrains, if you will. But we're doing a really good job. But so we're very happy with the assignment of these engineers and their knowledge. And even with the increase that you see here, the water and sewer bill do remain competitive against comparable cities. We will have challenges. We will need to continue to increase fees to meet our capital needs and to address things that we can't control. But what we can control is our O&M expenses, and I trust that we will continue to do so. One very strong recommendation we have is we recommend that the city implement an alternative stormwater charge structure for a non-residential in fiscal year 2026. This is a transition to the actual measurement of the impervious footprint to that from a current tier system. So we will follow up with that and work with our Environmental Matters Committee to ensure that study happens. Finally, fees and fines. Yes, there were pages and pages of fees and fines to review, but the one increase that we agreed on, because you heard previously in planning and zoning, the work we have in inspecting properties citywide, whether they're rentals or city-owned, HACA, et cetera, we saw that the short-term rental license fee did not really address the work that goes into that. We've hired, for example, we hired a company to work with us to identify short-term rentals, and we have to cover that cost, and we also have to cover the costs of diverting from other, inspections that are necessary, such as the long-term rentals and HACA properties citywide. And presently, that fee does not, we feel, does not cover that cost. So we do say that should be increased. The final page 29 is our recommendations in my copies in red. I think all the copies it's in red. I don't think I need to repeat them because they were all mentioned in my colleagues in my presentations. But I hope that you have time to review them. They did. Yeah, there were a lot of them. So if those are on the 2 pages, but if you turn to page 31, the last page, these recommendations translated into 3 amendments to the budget, and I will summarize those. The first that my colleague Alderwoman Finlayson spoke to is the emergency planner. It was interesting because I discussed, this came up in my discussion with our IT department head, and it was very alarming to me to hear another department head ask for something as well, and that definitely made me support this. We have to get these plans done. We can't shelf them. They have to be fluid. They have to be updated. They help with grants. And then if this is the only way to do it, then we support this ad. We do support keeping the city of Annapolis TV with the mayor's office under the direction of the PIO officer. Number 3, as I spoke to, is increasing the short-term rental license fee to address the costs associated. And number 4, which Alderwoman O'Neill spoke to, is increasing the funding for special assignments and unscheduled requests, which adds $50,000 to the Office of Law. This follows the model of our ITS department, where in the budget, the ITS department had the same philosophy of having a budget which he can use as needed instead of hiring a full-time person. So we thought that was a good approach to handle the problems that the Office of Law has in addressing the very increasing litigious environment that we are in. So with that, unless there are any questions, we formally submit our recommendations for the fiscal year 2025 budget to the City Council.
Thank you. Just checking you're all awake.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop. We had colored graphics.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on your agenda.
Yes, yes, sir. Comments by the general public.
Okay. Let's see this. So during comments by the general public, please don't come up if you're here for any of the following things, because they will have their own separate public hearing. So if you're here to speak on Department of Central Services, Health and Safety, City Council plastic bag reduction, annual budget and appropriation property tax levy, Department of Central Services, and FY 2025 changes in exempt service jobs classifications, all those things I just listed will have their own individual public hearing. If you're here to speak on anything else other than that, please come forward. First person signed up is Tara Stout.
The green light's on, so I think it's on. Tara Stout, 1174 Bay Highlands Drive, Annapolis. I had really hoped that the next time I was going to be at this council meeting was going to be to say, you know, we've got a groundbreaking plan, and to personally invite you all and members of the community. Unfortunately, I was here a couple of weeks ago and I explained our dilemma with the bonds in the city, and the game of whack-a-mole continues. Every day it's somebody different pops up that has to review or sign off on something. It's quite candidly baffling. It's a basic math equation. If you issued permits based on construction costs, you should be able to calculate the amount of the bonds. So I'm here tonight to basically beg you to channel the same energy that's going into getting your legacy project at City Dock into getting these affordable housing units under construction and eliminating the red tape in this ridiculous process that the city has going, where nothing can get done in a timely fashion. I think that that would benefit not just the residents waiting to live in the Willows, but also residents of Hacka. I mean, let's face it, the impact on air quality quality, and quality of life is far more important to people to get them out of living in mold than whether I get a paper or plastic bag if I shop at a merchant downtown. Kind of let's fix the big issues and really impact and improve people's lives before we start creating issues where none really exist. And what I pay for a bag from a merchant. Please put all that on hold until you can figure out how you can get your departments communicating with each other so that bonds can be issued and projects can move forward. And I really am looking forward to a groundbreaking where hopefully we can all celebrate together, because I can tell you the community loves this project. I've gotten texts, I've gotten calls from people on the waiting list. Will we be able to come to the groundbreaking? So I think it'd be a real win and a great photo op for everybody to get this project moving. So thank you. Hopefully I won't be here in 2 weeks, because hopefully tomorrow Ingerman will hear the bonds are ready. I believe that somebody in city leadership needs to direct the Office of Law, Public Works, and Planning and Zoning to communicate together so that these bonds can be resolved. All it is telling the developer, this is the amount that we want you to make the bond for, and they'll have it delivered to you. So please, could Mr. Malinoff, the mayor, or one of you commit to getting this done? Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Next up is Brenda Williams.
Kids left me with all their songs. Would you remember, please? I appreciate it. The kids left, they had to go. You know, tomorrow is a school day. Good evening, everyone.
We're really sorry that we lost the kids. I got the message. I apologize.
That's okay. We understand. It's technicalities. But anyway, I'm here in promoting getting the Stanton School funded, whatever they need to get the renovation done. You know, we're trying to get the kids off the street. And if you get them off the street and they're doing something positive, we know they're going to be doing something not negative. And as a pillar in the neighborhood, you all know my brother, Calesta the Walkman Smith. Our family is known to do right in the community. And I do whatever I can do to help Stanton School, my community, Easter egg hunts, whatever. All free. I go to the South River Rehab, sing to the elderly. I do a lot. And this means a lot to me, because when I go down to Stanton School, they're feeding the kids, they're helping them with the homework, they had the Boys and Girls Club, and I just want to say whatever you guys can do to help those children, because we really need them in a safe place. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Alderman Annette.
I'm sorry, but I'm not catching the thread of what you need us to do. Does this have something to do with the Stanton
There
Center?
says some funding or grant that you can give to the Stanton School as a renovation they need to do in the Stanton School, and there's funding that need to be released through you guys? No?
Yes, we have a grant application in, big
Yes.
grant application in. We've got our fingers
Yeah.
crossed for that. There is some funding coming through for the first
Yes.
phase. So the basketball court will be in motion pretty soon. So we're on the way. It's going to be amazing when we get it finished.
I pray that you do.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
And
so much. Thank you for the kids.
Thank you for everything you do, Brenda.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And the rest.
Okay, next up's Denise.
Hello, my name is Denise Robinson. I live at 518 Fifth Street. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. In front of you earlier, I put a list of the men who died while serving in World War I and World War II from Anne Arundel County and Annapolis who were brought home and buried and laid to rest in our city. This list does not contain all the men who were brought home. Many were laid to rest in family cemeteries in other states and other jurisdictions. 42 of those men lie within walking distance of City Hall. You can bike and walk to them from your homes. The question I have for all of you, since you've held office, how many of these men have you visited, placed flowers on their graves, paid your respects, said thank you on Memorial Day or Memorial Day weekend? It only takes a few minutes. We owe them that much. If you've not taken your children, please do. Take your families. If not, you should. Annapolis is the state capital of Maryland. We should be setting the example, setting the standards, not lagging behind. This year marks the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Company M, Annapolis' own, landed on Omaha Beach at 10:45 a.m. Normandy and Okinawa were the two battles that we lost the most men from our city. Next week, when you go to commissioning week and you're on Hospital Point, everybody knows where Senator John McCain lies. You all visit, you pay your respects, but just a few spaces over is Lieutenant Colonel David Kerr Claude. His father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather were all mayors of Annapolis. He was awarded the Silver Star and was killed in action at the Battle of Tarawa. I can tell you this, since I knew Senator John McCain, he would say, place your flowers on his grave, not mine. He gave his all. This past fall, you've all said the Netherlands is an example you should follow. And I agree. Please be the Netherlands. What's unique about the Netherlands, yeah, just pass them down. What's unique about the Netherlands is every grave, every single person, the tablet of the missing is adopted. They visit, they take care of, they hold their pictures. Right here you have a picture of families. They pass the adoptions down from generation to generation. For over 80 years, they have tended to our fallen. They have taught the next generation to honor our men because they understand what it's like to live under occupation. They understand what it's like to have their freedom taken from them. They vowed, they get excited, they search for photos. Their photos of their fallen sit on their family manors. They hang on their walls. They tell their kids their stories of the men who gave them their freedom, why they are there. We need to do the same. May 4th was Remembrance Day in the Netherlands, and these are just a few of the photos that were posted on the adoptive Margraten. These are families who have taken their day, their time, and devoted it to our men, and they understand the importance. We need to do the same. The mayor spoke. This is our duty as elected officials to honor our heroes, to honor their courage, to honor their sacrifice, to ensure they didn't die in vain. So I asked the mayor and the city council to follow the lead of Margraten. Pick a man. You can't know them all, but pick just one on that list. Toast to them, learn about them, visit them, take them flowers, and share who they were so they are not forgotten.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. Next up, Laurie Gill.
Hi. Ellie, do you have the pictures that you could put up there that you sent me?
I didn't prepare for that.
Okay. All right. Well, so my name is Laurie Gill. I am here to represent...
And Laurie, if you could just give your address just for the record, thank you.
I'm sorry?
Full name and address as well for the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Laurie Gill, 73 Southgate.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm here to represent a significant number of your constituents, some of whom are here. Anybody in the... Yeah, so we have a pretty good group here. Whose residents border on West Street. And some of the other people in our group may speak. But our concern is for the abandoned gas station at the corner of Monticello and West Street. This is one of the two main entrances into Annapolis. I am a daily reader of the Capitol, and I see lots of chat about the statue that's going to go in the middle of the circle. I really haven't heard much about the gas station. So you get past the pretty circle, then you come to this squalid gas station on the corner of Steele and Monticello. So that's what our visitors to Annapolis will see if they come in that way. This gas station has a boarded up, plywood boarded up kiosk in the middle of it that is not painted. It now has graffiti on the plywood. It's unsafe, it's unsightly. It also has people sleeping there at nighttime. There's no lighting provided. And there are currently cement blocks that are meant to keep people from trespassing on the property. The cement blocks have been pushed out of the way, so people are parking there. You've got trucks there, you've got people in regular cars just hanging out there. Additionally, I've been told it's private property, so the city cannot touch it in terms of condemning it or any other way to force the owners to do something with this unsightly and unsafe property. But as soon as I was informed of that information, I saw multiple construction vehicles parked in the space, along with all of their supplies. So somebody clearly is in contact with the owners of this property. I was told that they are trespassing there. I find that very hard to believe. I think they must have gotten in touch with the owners of the property. In doing a little bit of research before I came here tonight, I was looking for, since we've been told that we cannot, or like there's no way, which I would like further explanation on, or my community would like further explanation, if you cannot get the property out of the possession of the people who own it, I ask that you enforce the codes that are on the city webpage, non-residential property maintenance. The number is 1748020. There's an entire list of things. When you get down to 1748040, it says, 060. The exterior of the premises and all structures on the premises shall be kept free of nuisance and hazards to the safety of occupants, pedestrians, and other persons utilizing the premises, and free of any unsanitary conditions. Anything that would fall within these guidelines would be removed promptly. The premises should be free of hazards, which include but are not limited to brush, weeds, broken glass, stumps, roots. It goes on and on and on. Generally, the code specifies that if it's going to be held on by the people who hold on to it now, there are inspections that should be done by the city, the code's enforced. Otherwise, these people are just going to sit on it. Nobody's bothering them. They have no impetus to clean up the property, keep it safe, whatever. So I just ask that you give this matter some attention. Clearly, it's important to people that live around the area, and it should be important to everybody here since, as I said, it's one of the two main entrances into Annapolis. Thank you.
Thank you, We're all in agreement. The property is in the ownership of a land trust that has the Chrysler building in their portfolio, but we are working on that. The city has worked towards a condemnation process and been trying to find a funding source for the valuation that we did on it. But I can meet with you offline. Yeah.
Okay, but the code can be enforced in the meantime.
Thank you. Next up is London. She's gone home. I just saw London leave. Sorry. Okay. And was Sierra in that group too? Yep. Evelyn Smith. Might have been.
I have the letter.
Oh, okay. Is someone going to read the letters or come up for them? Thank you so much. And Jewel, thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renitra Anderson. I live at 51 Clay Street. This is from Evelyn Smith. She said that we need you all to support whatever funding that the Stanton Center needs in order for it to be renovated. So this is what the children wrote notes about. Hi, my name is Evelyn Smith. I've been going to the Stanton Community Center since I was in pre-K, and I'm now in the 2nd grade. And hello, my name is Soraya Lewis. I've been coming to the Stanton Center since pre-K. I'm now in the 3rd grade. I think that the Stanton Center building should have an upgrade. And Stanton Center has become a safe space for me to grow, and I love how they let us do stretches and make bracelets. And I don't know who this one was from. And can I speak really quick? I think my name is also on the list. But
Thank you.
Yes, I believe that the Stanton Center.
Full name and address.
Renitra Anderson, 51 Clay Street,
51,
Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
Thank you.
We really would like the support to get the funding that is necessary for the Stanton Center, because for years it has been a safe haven for a lot of people in the community and throughout the city of Annapolis. And whatever you all can do to help make that happen, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to come forward and speak? Please come forward. Yep. No worries. Yep. If you haven't signed up and you want to come forward and speak, nice to see you. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, my name is Lisa Culver, 2006 Key Village Court, number 101. I'm here as a member of a group called the Clean Air Action Group. We're a group that joined together from the peninsula over surrounding the Annapolis Reclamation Facility. The odors there have been getting progressively worse, and our neighborhood had started a group trying to create some awareness and get the attention of the Department of Public Works and the folks that are operating the plant. We have had 2 meetings with them, including a tour. We have reached out to other neighboring communities. We're finding that the smell is just getting horrible, and it's reaching over into Eastport, the Severn House area, the Nautilus Point Apartments area. It's now moving into Annapolis Roads, and it's spreading, and it's horrible. Our group started a campaign to try and document the smells. We started with the phone calls to the county dispatch, and then we also started using an app called Smell My City. We started this campaign in November, and as of this morning, we have about 2,200 odor complaints. Through our urging, the Department of the Environment did get involved and added 2 odor mitigation clauses to the permit for the discharge renewal. The plant had told us they weren't aware there was a problem, and we had called the Department of Environment. They sent some folks out, recognized immediately there was a problem, so added these 2 clauses to the permit request. We started a letter writing campaign as well and started reaching out, and we're finding that there's just tons of folks that are asking for help, and we're here knowing that the city doesn't operate the facility, but looking for your assistance, your influence as stakeholders. It's really become a quality of life concern, and we know we have a scientist on our group who had brought air sensors to our tour. We're finding there are some evidence of some volatile organic compounds. The plant has been cooperative with our requests and collaborating. They did hire a third-party consultant to do a study. We're just ending the phase 1 portion of the study, and we're still waiting on the results of that. We noticed, even though we don't understand plant operations, during our tour, we identified several things that we determined would definitely contribute to the smell, including where they are backwashing the filters, which is going into an open pit that's not covered, which is directly across the street from the Maritime Museum. Given their new investment in the pavilion and the kids that are there, we're just convinced that it's not a healthy environment. The new park that's right next door at Carr's Beach, it's going to significantly impact visitors to that park as well. So we're here, we're looking for your guidance, your help, awareness. We did a letter writing campaign to the county, to also some state officers, and we're just trying to figure out how to fix this for everybody. So that was
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
This is a new shocking development. We've been talking about this a lot on Council. Alderman Savage's ward here promised we're going to do everything we can to get to the bottom of it. We don't really know why. Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, for my colleagues' sake, I've received a number of complaints about this from people who've been in the ward for quite a long time, saying it's the worst it's been. and it gets to be unbearably strong, not just the typical. So in any case, our Public Works has been looking into it with the county because it's jointly owned by the city county, but operated by the county. They've told us what they think the problem might be, but I did not hear any kind of solutions offered. So what I'm probably going to do is add this to the next Environmental Matters Committee meeting in June. Maybe we can invite somebody from the county to help just give a sense of urgency to this. So it was asked that the city clerk add that to the next agenda for environmental matters. I'll follow up. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Arnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it has not confined itself to Ward 7. It wafts over to benefit us in Ward 8. The Director of Public Works did send us an email. This is another one of the things that apparently in part is due to high water. Every time the high tides come in, they overrun the sewer system and they overflow. The other thing, though, we've heard is that the county is sending sewage from their Edgewood treatment plant up here because they're over capacity there. So I think this is something where, because you have such a good relationship with the county executive, maybe a call, but it really is quite unbearable very frequently. And as we know, we're going to have more and more high water. So the plant's processing overflows into overflow ponds, which are not covered, and hence the wafting smell. So it's becoming a fairly urgent problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? Please come forward.
Greetings, Mr. Mayor and City Council. My name is Veronica Grant, and please excuse me if I sound a little slurred. I promise you I have not been drinking. I am a stroke survivor, so. My name is Veronica Grant. I live at 23 Bates Street, which is in the greater Clay Street community. I've been a resident of the city of Annapolis most of my life. And I'm here on a behalf of Stanton Community Center, the funding for Stanton Community Center. I don't think we should be here for that. I think it should just be done. Because Stanton Community Center has been a staple in our community for many years. I'm a direct descendant of the old 4th Ward, which is now the 2nd Ward. Many generations of my family have been positively impacted by the Stanton Community Center, and many children, not just in the greater Clay Street community, but in the city of Annapolis as a whole. There are 8 to 9 subsidized housing, low-income communities in the city of Annapolis whose children are positively impacted and are doing very well because the Stanton Community Center is there. Make sure that they have the money that they need to renovate it and run it fully. And that's very simple. We're getting a whole park downtown that costs lots of money. The Stanton Community Center don't cost that much. And I don't think it'd be more beneficial for our children to have that park downtown. It would be more beneficial to us to have the Stanton Community Center fully funded and renovated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, I do have one more thing to say. I have been wanting to, before I got sick, and I still continue to want to, start a program so that we can start doing things with our seniors in our communities, and they can come there to the Stanton Center, have brunch, play bingo, just do activities with the seniors. I reached out to the director of this Parks and Recreation Center, I called numerous times. I have not gotten one response yet, and that was months ago. Last year, I think. And I think that's shameful.
Thank you.
Because if I'm working for free in my community and you're getting paid to do your job, what harm is it to answer an email or return a phone call for people that want to work to make their community better?
Thank you.
Somebody fix that.
We appreciate what you do.
Mr. Mayor, should we tell the public that there is 4.4 in the budget for it?
Yeah.
Good evening, Todd Ferguson, 71 Southgate Avenue. I just kind of want to add to what Lori said. I think she articulated it quite well. I've been a resident for a little over 5 years. I live right by that gas station. My understanding, it's been like that 7 to 8 years, and it is the gateway to Annapolis in many respects. And even Mayor Buckley said most of us feel we live in one of the most beautiful places in the country. But every time any of my friends or any residences go by that, they just have to go, what is going on here? And I would like, if it's possible, to get, I think Lori really articulated all the legal aspects of it, and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure something can be done. We would just like to have a commitment from the mayor and the city council to have a meeting on this quicker than not quicker, because we've been waiting 7, 8 years and nothing's happened. And I think it's very important, especially for the image of the city, to grow and prosper. Thank you.
Thank you. Ellie and I will set something up. Is that okay? Thank you.
Yeah, we can have a meeting.
Yep. Great.
Well, most of us live in Northtown community, so you're aware of.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? Okay, thank you, everyone. I declare the public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is consent calendar.
Could I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Yes.
Alderman Shannon Meyer, Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderman Finlayson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is public hearings, beginning with Charter Amendment, CA 124, Department of Central Services.
Is anybody here to speak on CA-124? Please come forward. Okay, I declare the public hearing closed on CA-1-24. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for public hearing is Ordinance 0524, Health and Safety, City of Annapolis Plastic Bag Reduction Act.
All right, we have some speakers, and the first one to speak is Fraser Willman. Please come forward.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Fraser Willman on behalf of the American Forest and Paper Association. In Maryland, our industry employs over 5,600 individuals in 29 facilities with an annual payroll of $395 million. I come before you today in respectful opposition of Ordinance 524, the Plastic Bag Reduction Act. Our association does not support fees on products consumers rely on daily. Taxes and fees burden hardworking citizens with disproportionate impacts for low and fixed income consumers. These consumers can ill afford to pay an additional tax on paper bags while struggling to cover the increasing costs of essential products and need affordable packaging options to protect their purchases from damage and contamination. Paper bags are a clean, hygienic, and convenient choice to meet those needs while also being recyclable, reusable, and compostable. We recognize there may be a desire to align Annapolis with existing ordinance in Anne Arundel County. However, we encourage the council to prioritize consumer needs. Aligning with Anne Arundel County raises another point of concern for AFMPA. specifically Section B2, requiring paper bags to be composed of at least 50% post-consumer recycled content. This is not a feature of the Anne Arundel County Ordinance, nor is it a feature in Prince George's, Baltimore, Howard, or Montgomery County's ordinance. AFNPA does not support the inclusion of post-consumer content requirements for technical, market, and environmental reasons. From a market perspective, in addition to this proposal being an outlier compared to existing ordinance within Maryland, it is an outlier nationally, as most post-consumer content requirements are capped at 40%. This would make the Annapolis market particularly challenging for suppliers, impacting the costs for smaller but essential retailers. Considering environmental stewardship, post-consumer content requirements have little to no environmental benefit. The percentage that truly matters is that paper bags are 100% recyclable. The amount of previously recycled content has no bearing on the end-of-life recovery or recycling of our products. Additional concerns with the bill are in our written comments, which I ask that you review. Our industry offers sustainable products with an incredible track record of success. In 2022, the national recycling rate for paper products was 68%. And according to the EPA, more paper is recycled by weight than aluminum, steel, plastic, and glass combined. 80% of paper mills utilize recovered fiber to make new products, and starting in 2019 through 2025, our industry has committed $7 billion in investments, resulting in a 9 million ton increase in capacity for recovered fiber. We encourage the council to consider what our industry is doing to be a responsible producer of sustainable products. We ask that you consider how the imposition of bag fees and post-consumer content requirements would increase the challenges of accessing these products and fail to provide environmental benefit. As such, we ask that you do not support the ordinance in its current form. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fraser. Thank you.
Cheers.
Shirley Fuller, please come forward.
Hello, my name is Shirley Fuller. I live at 820 Janet Dale Lane in Severn in Anne Arundel County. I support Ordinance 0524, the City of Annapolis Plastic Bag Reduction Act. Plastics wreak havoc on ecosystems. They pollute water, soil, and air. They threaten the health of all life, from sea turtles and songbirds to every human around the planet. Most plastic bags do not biodegrade. Over time, the bags break down into smaller, more toxic petropolymers, which eventually contaminate soils and waterways. Globally, there is now more plastic in our oceans than plankton, with 46,000 pieces of plastic in every square mile of ocean. Bans in a few states and cities have cut single-use plastic bag consumption by about 6 billion bags per year, and reduced plastic pollution at least 1/3 in those areas. My husband and I live in Anne Arundel County, and we have heard of no complaints about the bag ban. We also lived in California, where a bag ban had been in place since 2007. The people there seem to have no issues with the bag ban. Pretty much everyone knows that plastics are an issue and need to be reduced. I feel that after a period of adjustment, everyone in Annapolis will be fine about the bag ban. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Next up, Bernie Robinson.
Thank you.
I want plastic.
So I did have enough copies. My home copy broke down. Had to make an emergency pit stop at the library. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Buckley and City Council members. I'm Bernie Robinson, Chair of the Sierra Club Anne Arundel Group. On behalf of thousands of Anne Arundel Sierra Club members, we strongly support Ordinance 5-20.
Thank you, Bernie. Just give us an address too, please. Thank you.
My personal address is 8113 Woodbine Court, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21061.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. The Anne Arundel County Sierra Club urges you to support this to prevent plastic pollution and incentivize use of reusable carry-out bags in the city of Annapolis. Plastic bags are among the top 5 plastic products collected in beach cleanups in the U.S. and a major component of litter. Annapolis residents use an estimated 15 million plastic bags annually. That's based upon a National Geographic study. The policy model represented by this bill is recognized as best practice for reducing plastic pollution, changing shopper behavior. To give you additional background on the issue in Annapolis, in 21-22, 75% of shoppers at major grocery chains in Annapolis that provided complimentary single-use plastic carryout bags were taking them. 75%. Only about 11% of shoppers were using reusable bags. In contrast, at the Annapolis Lidl, which does not provide single-use plastic carryout bags and charges for paper and other bags, 85% of shoppers bring their own bag or don't take one. Please see Appendix 1 on that. By the way, shoppers in Lidl's and Aldi's currently charge 12 cents a bag, just for your information. So the policy model represented by this bill is recognized as a best practice for reducing plastic pollution, changing shopper behavior. A prohibition on provision of plastic carryout bags that are not reusable paired with a financial incentive for shoppers to switch to reusable carryout bags or no bag. Retailers must charge and retain at least 10 cents for alternative bags, paper, and other carryout bags. The charge is not a tax. It is retained by the retailer to finance the bags. Shoppers may avoid the charge by bringing their own bag or not taking one. In jurisdictions that ban plastic carryout bags without this financial incentive, many shoppers take complimentary paper carryout bags, which are more expensive to provide and harmful to the environment. I personally know what it was like downstream from a paper mill at Patapsco State Park. When there was a paper hill at the southern tip of historic Ellicott City, the water was gray. It was lifeless until a wonderful hurricane wiped out the paper mill, and today you can search for trout. There are a few passages we'd like to have shared with additional people talking about 3 proposed amendments. And we just want to state that Sierra Club strongly urges you to pass Ordinance 524, and we thank the sponsor and co-sponsors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joanna Zola, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Zoller. I live at 8113 Woodbine Court in Glen Burnie. I'm here to speak in support of the Annapolis Plastic Bag Reduction Act and to speak specifically to 2 of the exemptions on page 5 of the copy that I had. First, I would like to assure you that the plastic bag ban transition has gone quite well in Anne Arundel County. I've observed shoppers using reusable shopping bags or no bags at all. And we no longer see the cartfuls of plastic shopping bags that I saw recently at the Bay Ridge Giant, like 25 plastic bags in a cart. It's now a thing of the past in the rest of the county. I would also like to commend you for your serious attention to enforcement with sizable fines after 6 months. This should strengthen the impact of the bill. Finally, I would like to share that my busy pharmacy at Weiss Grocery Store in Glen Burnie in Pasadena has made an easy transition from dispensing medicines in plastic bags to small paper bags or no bags at all. Trying to exempt pharmacies from giving out plastic bags just doesn't seem necessary. And if it isn't necessary, why exempt them? I also shop regularly at our local produce stand on Crane Highway during the summer, and I use reusable shopping bags only. It isn't necessary to use single-use carry-out bags there, so why allow farmers to pollute the city waterways? I recommend that the exemptions for pharmacies and farmers markets be removed for an even more effective bill, but I do support the bill very strongly. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Next up, Amy Adamo. Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Amy Adamo. I live at 1410 Cedar Park Road in the city of Annapolis. Thank you for taking the time this evening to listen to all of our testimonies and to consider them. And I just lost my notes. Oh, I didn't lose them. I just misplaced them for a moment. Hang on one second. Sorry. Okay, again, my name is Amy Adamo. I am a resident. I am spending a little bit of time this evening discussing with you in support also of the bag ban, and I can't find them, so I'm not going to waste your time. But I thank Alderman Savage for heading up this bill and the support of your sponsors and constituents as well. I would like to introduce myself as the chair of volunteer position, chair of Surfrider organization that we just started in Annapolis, and one of the organization's promotions is to keep initiatives is to keep waterways clean and accessible for all, so that includes pollution as well. So in terms of I'm crushing it, aren't I? Because I can't find my notes. It makes sense. The bill makes sense. The language is there from the county, and as it has already been presented, it is working around the county so far. For us to follow suit in the city is kind of a no-brainer. We also had some suggestions on some reworking of words, which will probably make a pretty serious impact on some of those things. And again, the Sierra Club representatives were bringing up some of those as well. And I would like to also offer our services from Surfrider and other organizations to help the transition go easier for residents who find it difficult to find bags that are reusable. That was one of the things that we have heard in other cities, that transition was difficult for some residents who used those bags and relied on the plastic bags for things they needed. So one of the things that's in the bill that we would like you to take some attention to is the time that you're allowing, I can't find the right words. The exceptions of the 10 days around Earth Day. We feel that that is sufficient enough time to hand out free bags. The 10 days per month ends up working out to about a third of the year they can get free bags, which seems a little overkill for the bill that we're trying to do. So if Surfrider and other organizations can help the city residents and make that transition a little bit easier, we'd like to be part of that solution. So thank you for taking the time. I do have a handout to listen to me, and I'm sorry for my lack of preparedness.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Next up, Sarah Price.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and honorable council members. My name is Sarah Price, and I'm here on behalf of the Maryland Retailers Alliance, which is located at 171 Conduit Street here in Annapolis. We are a statewide organization that represents members of the retail business community. So think grocery stores, department stores, hardware stores, all the way down to your mom and pop businesses here on Main Street. We are supportive of the ban and fee structure that you see in this proposal when communities choose to move forward with bag bans. Banning plastic and having the 10-cent fee on paper is typically the most effective way to alter consumer behavior and encourage people to bring their own bags, and allowing retailers to keep that fee helps to offset the increased cost of transitioning to a more expensive product. Paper bags typically cost at a minimum 4 to 5 times more than a plastic carryout bag, and having that 10 cents to offset that cost can really make a difference for businesses. In some jurisdictions in Maryland that have passed a plastic bag ban with no fee, they have seen really massive increases to their overhead. We had one department store share that their typical cost for an order of plastic bags used to be $7,000, and a comparable order for paper was $30,000. So having that fee in place is very important for the retailers, and we appreciate that that has been included in this policy. There are two major differences, at least that I've noticed, between this and the county policy. Annapolis currently is sort of already an island within the county as far as having a carryout bag policy in place. So should you move forward, we would like to see the two policies mirror each other as much as possible for consistency's sake for both shoppers and businesses. The biggest difference is the city's proposal, including the 50% post-consumer recycled content requirement. And then within the list of sort of clarifying exceptions, you include laundered or dry cleaned items, and the county also includes hanging garment bags. So think you're buying a tux, a suit, a gown. Typically you can't put that in a paper bag, or you don't want to put it in a reusable bag that might have had onions in it. So the county did include that additional exemption for hanging garments. Generally, we just want to make the transition as easy as possible, not only for our shoppers, but also for retailers. For businesses that operate both within and without the city limits, they may at this time be ordering bags regionally and having to order separate content bags just for one smaller district can make things very logistically difficult. So we would respectfully ask that you amend the city proposal to more closely mirror the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Pindell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a question on how you compare the cost of a paper bag versus a plastic bag. You said $30,000 for paper, and what was the cost for plastic?
So their order for plastic, they used to spend $7,000 to order their plastic bags, and then comparable, similar size bags, similar number of bags, they were spending about $30,000. And this was a national level department store, which has very high volume buying power. Generally, when you have larger chains, they typically have the capacity to order a large enough quantity of bags that they can really bring that cost down. With it being a department store, they were probably a little bit pricier bags anyway. They would have had, branding on the front, sturdy handles, a sturdier bag. For the grocery store industry, they are spending, a large grocery store chain is probably spending like maybe half a cent or a penny on plastic bags. And from what I've seen for the average grocery store size paper bag right now with no handles, they're about 12 cents each. If you are a chain the size of Giant or Safeway, you may be able to cut that down a little bit if you're buying in very high volume, but those are not the only grocery stores in the city. So we want to make sure that businesses of all sizes are able to meet that cost. A customer is able to avoid the fee by bringing their own bag in, but businesses can't avoid making that transition unless they get rid of bags completely.
Can you send us something on those, that information?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah. Next up is Brendan Mahoney.
Awesome, thank you. Mayor and Council, Brendan Mahoney, representing the Restaurant Association of Maryland and our members with Annapolis locations. We're in opposition to this bill in its current form. While we appreciate this ordinance being closely aligned with a similar law that passed in Anne Arundel County last year, There's one key distinction in this bill that we're in opposition to. Is the requirement for paper bags to be comprised of 50% post-consumer recycled content. This aspect of the bill would be unprecedented in the state of Maryland. There's currently no major jurisdiction that has this requirement and would likely lead to supply chain challenges. Because through our research, we only found one major manufacturer that even offers these types of bags. We also believe regional consistency is extremely important on this issue. Many of our members that have Annapolis locations also have locations throughout the county, and they typically like to buy their bags in bulk to help bring down the cost per unit on their bags. If they had to procure different bag types depending on where their restaurant was located, this would inevitably inflate their per unit bag cost. And then finally, some restaurants rely on paper bags with a protective coating or film to safeguard against breakage. However, there's no major vendor that offer paper bags that have this protective coating and also are comprised of 50% post-consumer recycled content. A standard paper bag might work well for a restaurant that sells cold sandwiches or salads, but this protective coating is essential for restaurants that might sell hot, saucy, or wet foods that are prone to breaking in transit when the customer takes it home. So we ask that this bill be amended to remove the 50% post-consumer recycled content requirement to make it consistent with the county law. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? I declare the public hearing closed on O-5-24. Thank you, everybody, for your input today. We truly appreciate it. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is ordinance O-724, annual budget and appropriation and property tax levy.
Right. Is there anybody here to speak on O-7-24? Anyone signed up? Okay, no one here signed up to speak. We will declare the public hearing open until we receive planning commission findings. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is O-824, Department of Central Services.
Right, have one person signed up to speak. Please come forward. Todd Ferguson. You're on the wrong sheet. No Todd Ferguson. I declare the public hearing on O-8-24 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda is O-924, FY 2025 changes in exempt service job classifications.
Right. Anybody here to speak on O-9-24? Right, going once, going twice. I declare the public hearing on O-9-24 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is legislative actions, first readers, beginning with the additional R-2524, social worker position at Annapolis High School.
Is there a motion to adopt R-25-24 on first reader?
So moved.
Second. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? So is there a motion to adopt R-25-24 on second reader?
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer? Aye. Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just want to make the comment that Dr. Tobin was here from Anne Arundel County Public Schools, who requested this some form or fashion that the council promote this new position. But also they asked for a letter, and I've conferred with Alderwoman Finlayson, and she's going to take a look at the resolution. Anything she wants to add or delete, we're going to basically use this as a template for the letter as well to the county council.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Legislative actions on second reader, beginning with 0323, 2023 redistricting and revised election wards boundaries.
Is there a motion to adopt O-3-23 on second reader?
Second.
Okay, an amendment here. Is that right, Alderman Finlayson?
The rules amendment, I'm sorry, this is some time ago.
If you want to move that.
I will move, yes, as the amendment.
And we've got a second there. Don't think we need any discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, is there a motion to accept the amendment on O-3-23 on second reader?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion on then we just did that. O-3-23 on third reader.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
I like the fact that Ward 8 has been removed from the city.
I didn't read that fine print.
Mayor Buckley?
Yes, aye.
Alderman Shannon Aye. Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
No.
Okay. Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle-Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda under second readers is 0324, City Council nominations to boards, commissions, and committees.
Is there a motion to adopt O-3-24 on second reader?
3, 2.
So moved.
He's fine.
Is that a motion or before the motion? Sorry.
Before.
You need a second.
Do we need to get on the floor for you to speak? Is he
Yes,
speaking to this?
You need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Alderman
I
Savage?
just want to make a motion to refer back to the rules and government for deliberation.
Okay.
It timed out.
And you have and I see there's an amendment here. Is that you, Alderman Savage, or not?
No. I don't know. I didn't look. We're trying to send it back to
It
committee.
hasn't gone back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a motion to table it? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, back to committee.
Refer back.
Postpone it? Okay, we've got a motion.
No postponement, just referring it back
Referring
to
it back
committee.
to Rules Committee.
Okay, do I need a vote?
He just made a motion to do it, so we need a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will second Alderman Savage motion to refer it back to the Rules Committee.
Okay, great. So all those in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? And so we're not going to move forward on that. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is ordinance 0424, residency requirement for liquor licenses repealed.
Is there a motion to adopt O-4-24 on second reader?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt O-4-24 on third reader?
Second.
Give me a second.
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle-Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolutions. Resolution R1824, second reader, comprehensive plan consideration extension.
Is there a motion to adopt R-18-24?
So.
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle-Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night's work. Good turnout. Mr. City Attorney.
Agenda is complete, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. For good order, Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Two things. One, there is going to be a meeting at the Stanton Center tomorrow night from 6:30 to 7:30 to talk about District 4 parking. So anybody that's listening is welcome. It's at the Stanton Center. There'll be a presentation from SP Plus and our Director of Transportation. My second thing is my son graduated from college this past weekend.
Cancel his phone account.
Congratulations. Alderman Pinnell-Charles.
Thank you,
and
Mr.
Alderman
Mayor.
Tierney.
I want to give a big shout out to the Finance Committee on the Council, who's done a magnanimous job, staff, as well as the Finance Department. They've done a great job. I thoroughly enjoyed sitting through all the presentations. As always, I learned a lot, but that's a lot of hard work, and I just want to congratulate everybody involved.
I think we'll give you guys a round of applause over there. Thank you. Jody gave the royal wave. Alderman Tierney.
Yeah, I just want to say I wasn't able to go to your work session today. Unfortunately, I missed the Chop Tank lunch, but I was really impressed with my colleagues' questions, and it just proved to me that I always feel that this, just because it's in my ward, it isn't, solely me. I really appreciate everyone being involved in this decision that affects, the heart of downtown, and I saw that you do that by the questions that you asked. They were very sensitive, and boy, Alderman Arnett, you are a career architect. But again, thank you. That was a really good session, I thought.
Thank you.
How was the food?
I can still feel it. Alderman Schneidermeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a reminder for folks, tomorrow is Election Day.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
if you plan on voting in person, please make a plan to vote. Know your polling place, know the time you're going to do it, and know how you're going to get there. If you have a mail-in ballot that you still need to take to a drop box, it will be counted if it is postmarked tomorrow. But to be on the safe side, I personally recommend just taking it to a drop box facility. You can find all this at iwillvote.org.
Thank you all. Okay, appreciate everybody. Thank you. Could I get a motion to adjourn? No. Could I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.